Thank you for visiting my channel. Before we start, hit the subscribe button below so you will be notified of future presentations. Our topic for today is option contract in the law on sales. First, let's consider the following scenario. This is an offer to sell. Angelo's family is leaving for abroad, so he offers to sell his house to Bobby for 10 million pesos. However, Bobby is unsure of whether he wants to buy or not to buy the house, so he asks Angelo for 5 days allowance within which to confer with his family and decide whether to buy or not to buy the house. Angelo agrees to the 5-day allowance. However, on the second day, Angelo withdraws the offer and sells his house to Carlos. Bobby, in the meantime, has decided to buy the house. What remedy is available to Bobby, if any? Here is another scenario. This is an offer to buy. Linda offers to buy Mimi's house for 10 million pesos. However, Mimi is unsure of whether she wants to sell or not to sell the house, so she asks for 5-day allowance within which to confer with her family and decide whether to sell or not to sell her house. Linda agrees to the 5-day allowance. However, on the second day, Mimi sells her house to Nena. What remedy is available to Linda, if any? To resolve the foregoing issues, let's consider the following provisions of the new Civil Code which govern option contract. Article 1479. An accepted unilateral promise to buy or to sell a determinate thing for a price certain is binding upon the promisor if the promise is supported by a consideration distinct from the price. Article 1324. When the offeror has allowed a certain period to accept, the offer may be withdrawn at any time before acceptance by communicating such withdrawal, except when the option is founded upon a consideration as something paid or promised. What is an option contract? An option contract is a contract whereby one person, known as the offeror or promisor or optioneer, grants another person, the offeree, promisee, or optionee, the right or privilege to buy or to sell a determinate thing at a fixed price if he chooses to do so within the agreed period. It is a preparatory contract to a contract of sale, hence it is separate and distinct from a contract of sale. In an option contract, the object or subject matter is the right or privilege to buy or to sell a determinate thing for a price certain. Consent is manifested by the acceptance by the offeree of the offeror's promise to buy or to sell the determinate thing, and consideration may be anything of value which is distinct from the price. Who are the parties to an option contract? The parties to an option contract are the following. 1. The offeror, also known as the promisor or optioneer, and 2. The offeree, also known as the promisee or optionee. Not seller and buyer, because an option contract is preparatory to a sale, and at that point there is no sale as yet. Option money. For the offer to be binding upon the offeror, the offer must be supported by a consideration distinct from the price, known as option money. Who pays the option money, the offeror or the offeree? It is the offeree who pays the option money because it is he who makes use of the time allowance or period, so he has to pay for it in order to preserve the exclusivity of the offer in his favor. Effects of payment of option money. If option money is paid, the effects are: 1. The offeror may not withdraw the offer and is obliged to buy or sell the moment the offeree decides to accept the offer within the period allowed, and 2. Even if the offeree declines the offer, the offeror must wait for the period to expire before he may offer and or dispose of the property in favor of another person. Remember, the offeree paid for the period or time allowance, hence the offer is exclusive to him for the duration of the same. In the first scenario given, Angelo allowed Bobby 5 days within which to decide, but Bobby did not give a consideration distinct from the price or option money for the time allowed him. Hence, under Article 1324, Angelo can withdraw his offer any time before Bobby's acceptance as long as he communicates the withdrawal because the offer is not binding upon him, there being no option money from Bobby. However, if Bobby paid for the 5-day allowance, say for 10,000 pesos, Angelo may not withdraw his offer for the duration of the period. Otherwise, he would be liable for damages for breach of option contract. If, after having received option money from Bobby, Angelo changed his mind and refused to sell to Bobby during the period allowed, Bobby can sue for specific performance and compel Angelo to sell. That is precisely the purpose of the option money, to preserve the exclusivity and binding effect of the offer. If, after having received option money from Bobby, Angelo sells the house to Carlos during the period allowed, can Bobby recover the house from Carlos? The answer is no. Bobby can recover only damages from Angelo for breach of option contract unless it is shown that Carlos was in bad faith. At any rate, even if there is no consideration distinct from the price from Bobby, but Bobby accepts the offer before Angelo withdraws the same, the result would be a perfected contract of sale. Henceforth, Angelo could no longer withdraw the offer without incurring liability for breach of contract of sale. This is based on Sanchez versus Rigos, a 1972 case. If the offer is accepted and the sale pushes through, the option money does not form part of the purchase price precisely because under Article 1479, it is a consideration distinct from the price. However, there is nothing to prevent the parties from stipulating otherwise. In the second scenario, Linda offers to buy Mimi's house for 10 million pesos. However, Mimi is unsure of whether she wants to sell or not to sell the house, so she asks for a 5-day period within which to confer with her family and decide whether to sell or not to sell her house. Linda agrees to the 5-day allowance. However, on the second day, Mimi sells her house to Nena. What remedy is available to Linda, if any? In the above scenario, who between Linda and Mimi should give a consideration distinct from the price or option money to preserve the exclusivity and binding effect of the offer? The offeree, she who needed time to decide whether to sell or not to sell. The purpose of the option money is to preserve the exclusivity and binding effect of the offer in favor of the offeree. If option money was paid by Mimi, but on the second day she sold her house to Nena, what remedy is available to Linda, if any? None, because the period was for Mimi to decide whether to sell or not to sell to Linda, and by selling it to Nena, she exercised her option not to sell to Linda. If you find this presentation helpful, please hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified of future presentations. Thank you.